So, why are all blind people introverted? Or maybe they're just shy, or maybe even worse, maybe they're just weird. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Matt from the channel Blind to Billionaire. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing why is it that blind people sometimes come off as looking like they're introverted, possibly even shy, or in some situations, maybe we just look like total weirdos. So this topic has actually come up quite a few times in conversations that I've had with numerous different people on this channel. And I thought, you know what, it might be interesting to bring this up so that we aren't feeling like, oh, maybe I'm feeling isolated and like I'm the only person that acts this way, because you're certainly not. If you're someone who feels maybe a little bit introverted, possibly shy at times, or if you feel possibly even a little bit awkward or weird in different situations. So why is that? And just to kind of clear the air for anybody who might be searching this topic out on YouTube, who might be sighted and wondering like, hey, I came across this blind person and they kind of acted weird. Are all blind people like this? Hopefully they come across this video and find some answers to these questions. So, like I said, are blind people all introverted, shy, or possibly even weird? Well, I would say generally no, but situational. In some circumstances, I would say that a lot of blind people or visually impaired are generally a little bit more introverted, and simply because it is more situational. Just imagine, well, I know that I'm this way, and some of it has to do with my personality, but a lot of it has to do with my low vision. So think of a situation. You have a blind person or someone who is severely visually impaired like me with like light perception. So let's say it's a family gathering or it's a holiday or some kind of social gathering where, let's just say, for example, there are 30 to 40 people in a room. And let's say the blind person is there. Well, let's say that person can't see very well and they're in this crowd. Well, unless the person can identify everybody's voice, which a lot of us are pretty good at identifying voices because that's how we identify people, right? So we hear a voice and we think, okay, that voice is associated with Matt, so it's Matt. But if we're in a gathering like this and there's 30 to 40 people, it's generally pretty loud. Not only that, there's a lot. I always like to say that the situation is fluid, and what I mean by that is that people are constantly moving around, positions are shifting, and kind of the scenario or the scene is always changing. So it's really hard to kind of differentiate different voices and what's going on in the area because people are always moving around, and it's just hard to follow the situation as someone that can't visually see what is going on in this situation. So for me, and I know I've actually had this, like I said, I've had this conversation with a lot of other people, and a lot of people do the exact same thing that I do. When I in one of these situations, I typically just kind of stand off to the side and let people approach me. So rather than being the person that walks around talking to everybody, which I would love to do, and if I had better vision that allowed me to do that, I probably would. But the reason I don't is because, like I was just saying, I identify people by their voice. And when the situation is fluid, like it is in one of these social gatherings, that it's always changing, it makes it really difficult to kind of walk around and possibly hear a voice and isolate it and then be like, oh, hey, it's Tim. And then be like, oh, wait, it's not, because the situation is loud and I didn't recognize the voice fully. And oh, wait, they're talking to three other people and I just rudely interrupted their conversation. So I find that it's a lot easier to just kind of stand off to the side and let people approach me rather than trying to walk around, navigate, and approach other people. So in that sense, it makes me look like I am very introverted, very shy, and that I'm kind of weird because I'm always just standing off on the side by myself and I don't really talk to anybody unless they approach me. But like I said, it's more situational than it is personality, simply because it's difficult. In a crowded situation like that, it's really difficult to make our way around and actually talk to people and just navigate the facility. Now, there are some people out there who are blind or visually impaired who are actually really good at this. And I have to say, I'm definitely not one of those people. But I've definitely encountered people here in this community on YouTube who have not possibly been blind their whole life, or blind from a very young age, and they've just adapted very well and just get around very well, and they do a great job with it. Now, as for me, someone that has had low vision for not that many years, only, I don't know, a quarter of my life, about 7 years or so. Yeah, that's about a quarter-ish. Yeah, about a quarter of my life. I haven't really adapted to that yet, and I don't have the formal training that allows me to kind of to walk around a social gathering with a cane feeling my way around. But I don't really know how that would help in these types of situations. So I wanted to make somewhat of a short video and just kind of clear the air that it's not necessarily that blind people are always introverted or shy or possibly weird, but it's rather in these types of situations, it's a lot better for us to just stand off onto the side and wait for people to approach us rather than trying to walk around on our own. Now, I've actually had these conversations with other people, like I've already said, and I've actually had some people who say that by nature they are extroverted. So like they're really outgoing, they're social, and they like to really connect with a lot of people and just talk to a lot of different people. But then they were expressing that as a result of their vision loss, as a result of their vision getting even worse over the years, that they've actually become more of an introvert. And the reason being is, like I've been saying, it's more situational. It's just becoming more difficult for them to walk around and socialize like they once did when they had better vision. So they also find that it's easier to just stand off on the side and be approached rather than approaching. And what else is really interesting about this too, I've actually alluded to this in other videos, and I've actually talked about this with other people on this channel too, that in many situations, well, not in many situations, but generally for me and a few people that I've talked to, small groups like 3 to 5 people at the max, like 5 including me, is like the optimum number of people in a group. And the reason for that is, as people with very low vision where we cannot identify faces, it's really easy. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's easier to keep track of everybody in a group when we're all isolated into, somewhat of a small group. Let's say there's 5 people total, me included. That means there's 4 others. So if I'm sitting somewhere, even in a fluid situation with only 4 other voices out there, it's somewhat easy to keep track of where everyone is, generally. Let's say 2 of the people are to my left and I can hear, okay, there's Brian and Sam to my left, and then to my right I hear one voice, which is Victoria. Oh, that must mean that Nick is across the room over there, that other voice I hear. So through process of elimination, it's also easy to keep track of everybody, and then we can be more like ourselves and a little bit more comfortable in these situations. So like I said, hopefully this just clears the air a little bit and just makes people realize that like blind people are not totally weird. We're normal human beings just like everybody else. But in some situations, we just choose to maybe just hang out on the sidelines and just let other people come to us rather than trying to walk around. And if you ever get us in the chance where you can get us into a small group with just a few people or even one-on-one, that's where I find from a lot of the conversations I've had, many of us who are blind or visually impaired excel in one-on-one or very small group situations. Just because we can easily keep track of people. So anyway, quick video talking about weird blind people. But anyway, thanks for watching this. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, stick those down below in the comments section. Otherwise, if you're new here, I would love it if you subscribe. Otherwise, thanks again for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for Corey's video on Friday, and she's going to be giving some things away. I don't know what it is. She actually texted me today and said, hey, keep track of everything, because you never know what I'm going to give away. Like, what did she say? She said something like, I don't know, keep track of your things or lock your stuff up, because you never know what I'm giving away. So I have no idea what she's giving away, but stay tuned for that on Friday. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you again in a few days. All right, bye now. Thanks for watching.